The 3rd of November 2024. I'm here with Ors. How you all doing?
Doing good, V. How about you? How about you guys, chat? How you guys doing?
Well, I am cursing the European Union because for once in their life they wanted to do something productive for me, which is to change the daylight timing schedules, and they fucked it up. So
Did
now,
they?
yeah, like they didn't do it, and now it's 7 p.m. here. I usually used to stream at 8, so some people will think that the stream is early, other will think it's on time. Depends on which part of the world you're at.
Well, I mean, we went through DST last night as well. I lost 1 hour.
Ah. Anyway, it's been an exciting week. I want to start this off with some Romanian news and ask you what you think about it, because this is
Okay, all right.
something you've never heard before. Completely foreign.
Completely foreign. All right.
Completely foreign, yes. I want you to imagine this lovely lady with big tits getting stopped by the police officer, right? So, like, the evil
All right.
cop
Well, I mean,
stops her.
we're off to a good start, except the popo. But go on.
Right. And they're trying to see if she smoked marijuana. They're giving her the thing in order to blow. And it turns out that she did smoke marijuana, but they find some other traffic violations. She had some stickers on her window or some shit.
All right. All right.
Now, in Romania, they have like this little printer that they carry with them so they can give you the papers.
Yes.
And apparently the cop forgot the printer on her car. And when she found the printer, she threw it away. Like she took it with her and threw it in a garbage bin. And now the
yeah.
cops.
I mean, if they forgot it on top of the car or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but now the cops have arrested her for stealing, and they want the printer back. And she can't find it. Yeah, like she was taken to police custody, and after like getting out on bail, she got with her friends in order to look for it. And I'm thinking, like, hold on a little bit, right? Like, I don't think it's stealing, because in the Romanian criminal code, stealing means with the intent of making the good your own. So, like, if you just take it and you throw it in the trash.
Yeah, with the intent of, last I checked, like, we had spoken about that,
Yeah.
like, what, year ago on a different event. And it's like, with the intent of personal profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, she just wanted to throw it away because, like, the cop left it on her car. Like, the cop's at fault.
Yeah, you know, she didn't know. I mean, for all she knew, it was just some piece of God knows who knows what that just fell off
she
a fucking
probably
truck,
knew. But like, let's say that the cop, like, forgets it on the ground and someone steps on it, right? And damages.
Court is about plausible deniability, right? So all you got to do is come up with an excuse.
Yeah. No, but like I'm thinking, like, what if the cop just left it on the ground and someone stepped on it and damaged it? Like, you wouldn't be responsible, right? Like, if it's on the ground.
Well, if the police officer's an asshole, he really could. Like, if there's a piece of police hardware on the ground and you step on it and you crush it, you better bet your last fucking dollar that if the police officer wanted to be an asshole, they could try to book you for destruction of police property. Remember, the police aren't the ones that decide whether or not to go through. Like, if it's beyond a little fine, right? It's a prosecutor or an attorney.
I guess.
You know?
To be honest, you can countersue them and say, like, why was it on the ground to begin with?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't countersue. You would use that as the mitigating excuse, right?
Not a bad account.
I bet you. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Not a bad account says justice for Peanut. Would Romania dare do this too?
Oh damn.
I'm trying. Okay, so we do have licenses.
Peanut is the squirrel, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about. But like, what I think would have happened in Romania is that the guy would have been given a citation and he would have been warned. It's like it has come to our attention that you have a pet that you're not supposed to have. Blah blah blah. We would like you to come to the station and answer a few questions. And then, depending on what he says, depending on what the circumstances are, they may have just confiscate the squirrel and let it in the wild or some shit. But they would definitely, like, not storm into a person's house with 3 departments, getting the person and his family spooked, turn his entire house upside down, damage his toilet, murder Peanut and the other raccoon. Yeah, that's probably not what would have happened in my country. At least I like to think so,
I checked what would happen here in Quebec. Right?
Yeah.
Here in Quebec, what they would do is they would citation, right?
Yeah.
They would say, just as a notice, we know that you have an animal.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to keep it domestically, you have to get it checked right? Like you have to respond to this letter with proof that it's been either vaccinated or checked by whatever the hell veterinarian, right? That's all you need to do.
What if it's
Like
a
as
tiger?
long
Okay, let's assume.
well,
that
you can't. A tiger's already ruled out. That's an exotic cat. Just
Okay.
like you can't get the like what is it, the Sergal cats around.
What
here?
if you have like a spider monkey?
No, you can't.
All right, but like let's say you have it, right? Like you have it, you're streaming.
Yeah.
What would the consequences be?
Confiscation and then destruction of the animal.
They would put it to sleep.
Yep, they would.
They wouldn't release it in the wild.
Canada-wise. Well, where the fuck are they gonna release it in Canada?
I'm pretty sure there may be like some NGOs that would take it, right? Or some zoo or some shit.
Well, I mean that's actually happened in the past. If there's an NGO that intervenes, they give it to the NGO. But the standard response is if there's an exotic animal that's considered outside of the Food and Wildlife Act of Canada, it would be confiscation and then destruction of the animal.
American Outlier, hi Viadors, hope your day is going well. Well, not as good as Peanut. It's definitely going better than Peanuts. How has Peanut unjust arrest affected the polls? I haven't checked actually, but I do know that people on Twitter are really upset about this.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect the polls. I think it's on a different wavelength than the actual vote.
I think it may get some people that didn't want to vote now to go. Like some people that didn't care. It's like I don't want to vote, and now there might be like okay, but will it count as a percent? I don't know.
Yeah, it might wake up some people, but I don't know. I don't think it'll move the political needle.
No. Does Peanut remind you of life under communism? Actually, yes. So like under communism, you weren't allowed to keep any type of animal husbandry. Like you had to give it to the state. So like if they found out that you're keeping a pig or some shit, like they would actually break into your house and take the pig away. So
be true.
Yeah, anyway, right. So like the thing with Peanut, do you know what started it?
I think it was a streaming, right? What was it?
No. So this is a real event. Like it's difficult to express it without sounding dumb, but I'm not making this up, right? So there's this woman in Texas. And she was looking at her Instagram, and she was upset that a squirrel has more followers than her. So she snitched. She called different agencies. Because the man was having the squirrel for 7 years and nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
But she called like different agencies to take the squirrel away. Like she is the one that filed the report. So like all of it is because of an Instagram thought that was upset. She's getting...
Oh, weaponized bureaucracy is the fucking worst, man.
Yeah, like the internet already found out who she is. Like I was finding out about this and I was like, no fucking way, no. And then you look at it and there's no community fact check.
Straight pipe fucking evil, no shot. What the fuck, man? No,
there was some people that were telling me it's like, oh, you don't understand, like squirrels are dangerous. They got disease, like they bring pestilence, and they're going to stack the bodies in the hospital if
care of, man.
And it's like, yeah, I don't think this lady was worried about her health, man.
Yeah, like what? You're gonna go after like pet rats too?
Yeah, this is another thing that people are saying. It's like, well, squirrels are vermin, and I'm like, okay. Rats are vermin too. Does that mean that you should go into your neighbor's house and shoot the pet rat, you know?
Wow, man. That long-distance NIMBYism. What the fuck?
Long-distance NIMBYism. Oh, shit.
Holy shit.
Neighborhood snitches, just like under communism. See, it does remind. A lot of people like keep thinking of the Roman Empire. Do you think of the Roman Empire, Ors?
Well, I mean, I'm fond of the time period. I run games in that time period, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, I always think about communism. It's kind of like that. There was a meme like there was on TikTok like women were shot.
I'm trying to figure out how the Roman Empire comes into that equation though.
Oh, the situation in America right now, it's almost to the brink of civil war, just like in the Roman Empire. You know, look at the feminization of men, just like in the decline of the Roman Empire.
Well, I think the Civil War thing is overstated. I think that's a bit hyperbolic, personally. But
really? You don't agree with Tim Pool?
What with his call about Civil War being close?
Yeah, every five videos or so, he's and it's usually red with arrows.
Yeah, that's shit he does to keep eyes on the screen, right? No, the Civil War isn't on the horizon for the
Mm.
United States at all. But I would say the diversity question, though, the whole diversity is strength. It's proving to be about as accurate as trickle down economics, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it is the strength of the politician, right? Because like there was this guy posted on Reddit about a video game, the one with the colonists. What the fuck is it called? The one where you like have
Good.
colonists on a planet.
Yeah.
Well, do you know the name of it?
Wait. Ask again.
So
I lost
there's
track
a
of what
video
you said.
game where you have like colonists on a planet, and you gotta build shelter, and you gotta fight off savages. It's a very
Well,
popular
there's a
game.
couple of
Well-
there's a couple of games like that.
Can you give me some names so I can tell you which one?
Well, old school games like Outpost, where you had the colony build
No.
on a fucking moon. and
Anyway,
shit.
whatever. You know, we're gonna pass the name.
Whatever. Go on.
Basically, he had like colonists of different ideologies. Yeah, Rimworld. Fuck, Rimworld. And he was saying it's like
dude, I was playing RimWorld just before I arrived here. Yeah. go
yeah,
ahead.
so basically this guy is saying he got like colonists of different ideologies and they were constantly killing each other and he doesn't understand how diversity is the strength. And I said, well, the strength is for you, the politician, because while they're killing each other, they're not looking at you and demanding answers on why they don't have shelter and why they're starting to starve to death, right?
Yeah.
So like
fucking
diversity is the
spot on,
strength.
dude.
It's for you, the politician, not for them.
Yeah. The strength is that they can't they won't unify.
They won't unify,
won't
yeah.
unify. Yeah, and honestly, man, that's straight up wisdom.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
true.
I can tell you right now, if you're looking at it from a RimWorld standpoint, unless every single one of those motherfuckers it wants to be multicultural, let me tell you, those that ain't multicultural don't appreciate all that extra culture.
That's
Like they ain't having any of that.
So listen to this, right? Like this is an article which came out, and I was reading it. I had to read it like 3 times because I didn't like no fucking way. But having worked in a hospital, I can see it happen, and I'll explain. Apparently, Swiss authorities have detained Florian Willett, president of Right to Die group, after strangulation marks were found on the neck of a 64-year-old American woman who used the group's Sarco suicide capsule. So basically, you have like these suicide capsules, right? The ones where,
the nitro gas capsules.
Yeah. And they found like within the capsule, they found at the autopsy that the person died like Epstein.
Well, okay, so the person went through the capsule experience.
Yes.
And then they have to do an autopsy anyway. And in the autopsy, they found ligature marks on the person.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So like what I think happened, like I'm trying to like understand how does something like this happen, and the only way that I can see it is that they tried the capsule and it didn't work. It worked like halfway or some shit, and then they were afraid that because it worked halfway, they're going to get sued. And they're going to lose a lot of cash
get
with this.
fucking sued. That means they cheaped out on the nitro balance, man, or they didn't.
Who
leave it
knows? Like
active
I
long
will
enough.
tell you this, source. Like the human body is incredibly resistant sometimes. Like there are people that were sent to the chair, and they still fucking survived. You know, like you have people that are shot in the head and they still fucking survive. Like
Straight
people,
up. And
yeah.
not
people
only that,
with-
if they didn't wait for abdominal breathing to stop, man. Like,
Yeah.
geez.
So basically, what I think is that they found that she's still alive, and usually after a traumatic experience like that, chances are that she may not be the same like she went in. You know, like you may have your body paralyzed, you may have like incredibly heavy pain, right?
Like part of the brain could have been oxygen deprived. Who
Yes.
knows what kind of damage could have happened, man?
So they're like, oh shit, family lawyer lawsuit, not good. So they probably got Hans, or whatever his name is, with big hands, and like, Hans, you have to finish it. But no, doctor, no, Hans. You gotta do it, Hans. It's for your country.
Come on, 50K, no questions asked. Just get it done, man. Just get it done. You know that loan will pay it off. I don't know. Well, want to know? You want to even tread on the darker side?
Yeah.
What if the capsule worked, and this is post?
Oh my God! Oh no, Ors, no.
Hey, there was scandals about that shit in the past.
No. Oh
Like,
God.
whatever the case may be, they found fucking marks enough that the body was alive because it left bruising. Like, none of these alternatives are good, V.
Do you know
One is
that there
more
was a
grim than
case
the.
like this was a case. I think it was also in a hospital, and there was this lady in a coma.
Yes.
And she was in a coma for like 20 years or so, and all of a sudden she gives birth. And instead of people saying, "Well, this is a miracle," they started poking at it, and they looked
Well,
at.
like, I'm gonna say there aren't very many layers to that onion before you get to the core. Like, you don't have to ask a lot of questions.
And apparently it
Access,
was it was like
timing.
a janitor. Like when they did the DNA test, he was the father.
Oh
You know.
my god.
It didn't work like in the
That's straight up
Sleeping Beauty though.
Tarantino shit, man. That's some straight up Tarantino shit.
I mean, dude, like if you think about it, right? So like the father goes to prison, the child has no mother, and
God.
yeah, like it's a really fucked up situation because like she's still in a coma, like she didn't wake up. So
Yeah. And like, would the child even come out healthy? Like, I mean, that's an entire scientific question to itself.
I
They're
don't know.
gonna
I
do
haven't
studies on
followed
that
it.
child.
I think
A
she got
child
in a coma
conceived
because of an
in a
accident.
coma.
So yeah, like she got in a coma because of an accident. So like it may not
Yeah.
have genetic abnormalities, but still.
No, but still,
Yeah, still.
entirely gestated while the person was in a coma. That's a scientific goddamn proof waiting to happen.
Why did you redeem as Ministry of Wrong Thing?
That is not something that should have been redeemed, right?
Let's talk about another thing from my country. I'll tell you like another.
Okay, go ahead.
So this happens at school where one student gets like the Romanian grading system is from 1 to 10. 1 means like incredibly bad, right? 10 means excellent.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So-
So like a level of proficiency with the topic. All right.
Yeah. So this is at the music part of the curriculum. Like you go to school and you got like math, chemistry, physics, music, physical education.
Let me ask this before you go, just so I have an understanding of how the scale works. What's considered pass and what's considered
Five.
excellent?
5 is considered pass.
5 is pass.
5 is
and what I would
pass.
say 8
Excellence
would be
is
considered
10.
honor.
Yeah, excellence is
All
10,
right.
and
10,
1
right.
is terrible.
Yeah,
And they
1
do
is
an average
pure
of all the grades, right? So like if you have like 5 grades, they add them up and they divide them by 5, and that is like the final mark.
gives you your overall. All right. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so basically like this is happening at the music lesson, which I want to say I don't even know why kids have to do music lessons, but okay.
Oh, no. I can come up with a bunch of reasons, but go ahead.
He didn't know what do bemol is. Like the grade was to write on the paper the next musical notes: do bemol, si bemol, mi bemol, sol bemol, and one of them didn't know how to write, so he got a 1. And
Right.
he actually sued the school, and they said that no, it's actually okay. He shouldn't get a 1 because this was banking on knowledge that he was taught the previous year. So the professor cannot ask him questions from the previous year. He has to ask them from the current year.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, school curriculum wise, it is also that way in Canada and the U.S. But yeah, huh? And when I mean, I got the notes, but what does bemol mean? Is that like sharp or flat?
I don't fucking know. And like the very fact that you're forcing students to sit 1 hour of their fucking important life, wasting it away, unless they want to
Yeah.
become musicians and they go to like a specialized thing.
Oh no, V, don't do it. First of all, music teaches syncopation and mathematics, right?
You know what I wish? I wish that I had a time machine to make you young again, and then force you to go into one of these fucking schools, and I will teach you everything, every fucking thing, from like a factory worker. You should be like from
Dude,
8 a.m. all the way.
I don't do any music at all in my life, but
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times the knowledge of actual, like, just even if it's musical theory, how often it's actually benefited me. Now, just even beyond the hand-eye coordination and also the the mind to the hand coordination, like when you're keeping track of time in your head while still trying to produce noise on an instrument, the amount of overall benefits that a music program can give people, like for 1 hour a week, because that's what we got in Canada was 1 hour a week. Like, come on, man.
Well, the problem, no, listen, the problem that I have with school is that
Yeah.
I would have to wake up at 7 a.m. and I would have to stay there until 4 p.m. And then you come home and there's like 3 extra hours that you need to do your homework for the next day. That is insane.
Okay.
Like that was more than what my mom did. And every single time I go to someone and I was saying like, why do I need to know quantum physics? But you got it, V. You got it. How can you go through life without the quantum physics, V? They're very important.
No,
like,
it's
okay,
not-
why do I
All
need
right,
to
all right.
know the geography of the fucking Carpathian Mountains? But V, you gotta know the geography of the Carpathian Mountains. How can you go through life, V? Like, how can you live as a human being without the geography of the Carpathian Mountains?
Wow.
Fuck
Exaggerate much, V? Come on. No,
I am not
remember,
I swear to God, that
it's
was the
not-
curriculum.
It's,
like
it's not about like having to know exactly that mountain range, right?
Right.
It's about learning and being able to retain memory and bringing it back. You don't have like
There
all the
must
shit
have
that I
been
learned in
other
history
ways.
in
There
high
must
school.
have, look. I understand. Like if it was 5 hours a day, fine. If it was 6 hours a day, we're talking
Right.
about 8 hours a day being forced to sit on a bench, and then when you go home, another 4 hours of homework. That's ridiculous. It's 12 hours a day. Fuck off with that shit.
Okay, yeah, you were talking about the homework. Yeah, personally, yeah, I am anti-homework, right?
Mm.
Like the time that you spend in school should be enough to teach the kid. Leave the kid the fuck alone once he goes home. Leave the kid time to reset. Yeah, if you're talking about homework, I'm personally my personal approach to it is homework is bullshit, and things like science projects that you have to do at home and with your own money is also bullshit. But
I really hated geography, just so you know. Like those fucking
oh
rocks.
fuck, you hated geography?
I fucking
Yeah.
hated geography.
I
Artemis,
hated French class. Fucking French class.
I bet you know how to speak French because you're Canadian. I bet you can
Yeah, I
spin those
was
wee-wee-
French. I was French, and I went to English school, and I still hated French class. Fuck French class.
I think that French is a gay language, Ors. I don't think that you can have a grown man going around wee wee and ooh la la and still call him heteronormative. There's no fucking way you can tell me that you can have like a chat, like the one from the memes at the computer, and he goes like wee wee and ooh la la.
Oh, I mean, if you is your masculinity in question so much that makes you scared?
Who makes the language, Ors? Who makes the language?
La la.
Who makes the language? Is it not men who make the language? So like it directly tells you about the men who made it.
Oh, that's true.
Look at the
Well, I mean,
Japanese, like they go like, "Hui,
Wait. Hold on. Language back then was more so made by the monks and scholars. So I mean, we were talking about most of those people out in the Vatican and shit. So are those people men? That's the question.
Well, I mean they are men, but I
We're
think
talking
they may
about
be
men
LGBT allies here. Like if you're locked away with other men in a monastery and you don't get to see
Vatican
women,
Rome, though. Anything went over there.
I can see why now. Like if you take a couple of men and you lock them in a monastery and they don't get to see women, they may say ooh la la and wee wee. So yeah.
We have found the source, V.
Artemis Fowl, thank you for the $5. I was supposed to debate Dev on election yesterday. It was planned for a while now. He apparently couldn't make it. He was too busy. Oh my goodness. No. Bevel lowers the tone. 1 out of 10 was only for cheating in my time. Writing nothing or getting every answer wrong would get you at least a 2 out of 3. Yeah, that was the same with here. Like, you would only get 1 if you cheated. You would get a 2 out of 3 if you didn't write anything.
I mean, we used to have an ABCD grade system when I went through school way back in the day when I was older than dirt, and you didn't have to try hard to pass a course.
Yeah, same here.
Like,
there were a couple of courses that were very difficult, like when we got to hyper complex number and trigonometry with math.
Yeah, like
that was actually kind of
advanced math to do like pre-calculus and shit.
Yeah, that was more difficult.
I fucking hated that shit. That and calculating goddamn compound interest. Fuck that shit.
Was Napoleon French? I mean, was he born in France?
I believe he was born outside of France.
I
but
think he was
in the
born
French
outside of
colony.
France and got citizenship from the
Yeah.
French Legion, didn't he?
I don't know about that part. I don't know if he was born to French parents, out and just outside in like Algeria or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because people are
But I know he
trying
was.
to vouch for French's heteronormativity by bringing up Napoleon, and I'm like, I don't think that's.
Ah, I don't know, man. I mean, I love Napoleon for his military shit, but I don't particularly see him as particularly manly, man.
I don't know. I mean, like, how much do we know about his day-to-day life?
Oh, well, I mean, it was a matter of public record,
Mm.
so.
Yeah, but like, even today, like, how much do you know about Joe Biden's life? Like, you do have him in public, and you know how he behaves, but like, what does he do behind closed doors? You don't know, right? So,
True.
maybe he was extremely manly. Who knows? We got Christopher Keating. As a French man, I can say that women in their salons were influential to the language, but also I'm pretty sure the gay has been legal since the revolution of 1791. You're so lucky you didn't get communism because they would have outlawed it. I'm not kidding. Every single country in the Soviet Union or in the satellite states outlawed LGBT.
Yeah, that is very true.
Romanian men are more masculine than the French and Canadian men. I don't know about the Canadian ones, but I do know that a lot of truckers that were protesting were actually from Eastern Europe. Anyway, let's look at what else we got. Dragon Age. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Dragon
Rip
Age.
Dreadwolf. Rip Dreadwolf.
You know what actually makes me sad is the fact that I have never seen a game releasing before this year where people would actually look at the sales to say if the game would be successful or not. And I have seen the left doing it and I have seen the right doing it. The left was doing it with Wukong and the right is doing it now with Dragon Age. And it just it just makes me sad because gaming used to unite people, you know? Back in the day,
very much so.
Yeah, like back in the day, you'd have like games that people hated, and it was like the Xbox versus the PlayStation and shit.
Yeah, it was more about platforms and exclusives. People used to bitch about exclusives back in the day, but everyone otherwise were happy when good games came out.
Yeah, and now I kind of understand why. I understand why both sides have this feeling. The people that want Dragon Age to fail, they want it to fail because they don't want the IP to change. Like, they want the grimdark universe, they want the well-written characters, they want the gameplay of the first Dragon Age, and they want more of that. And that can't happen if they take a different direction with this new one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the left hates Wukong because they wrote it in the articles and they said it lacks diversity. Like, it doesn't have their consultants, they don't have power over it, they don't have that shit. So they don't want China to come in and muscle in on the grift, basically.
Yeah. Is it all right if I rant a little bit about
that
shit?
Go on.
All right, so got a couple of points there to cover, but I'm going to have to use my ADHD brain here and try not to lose the point while I'm on the way. So bear with me a sec. So standing in, like, from the outside looking into this whole Veilguard shit, first off, let's take a look, or let's try to reminisce about Dragon Age Origins. And for those of you in the chat that have never played Origins, right? It's a complete different beast of a game, right? If you can stand having to read a little bit, because a lot of it is voice acted, you really should play Dragon Age Origins because it's a fucking great experience, RPG wise, just from the get go. Listen to the dialogue, listen to the options that you have. Take a look at how they present like their supernatural concepts, right? And all, just how the whole canon really just sticks together. There's a unity in there. There's a continuing storyline. It feels like it's not just a bunch of ambling little pieces that are just kind of stuck together, all right? Dragon Age Origins is considered an old school, like one of the OG grand standards because it was really, really good. Now, it didn't age well, but this whole Veilguard thing that's going on right now, what we're seeing is, I mean, and this is entirely my opinion, but what we're seeing is a continuous re-Trojan horsing, right? They're using IPs. They're taking the flesh, they're fucking flaying the flesh off of these IPs, and they're wrapping it around a completely different vessel. And the vessel is used for their ideology, their message, whatever it is, and it varies from different platforms. Sometimes they're just straight up using like gaslight gatekeep girl boss as their vector, and sometimes they're using like just like the deconstruction of old heroes in order to prop new ones that are being injected into the IP. We've seen all sorts of different fucking symptoms of this, like all the way from the Marvel universe to the whole Disney shit to the games that are going in right now. So we already know what the intent is. The intent is to take old ass IPs, our old heroes and all that, and removing them from the equation so that they can't be used as a comparison anymore. Now, Veilguard is a bit more flagrant because it feels like they took not only like it's like the whole Joker 2 thing all over again. The game that is there is an RPG. Strip away the woke shit, right? Strip away the whole ideology and take a look at the mechanics first off. Veilguard is not a very good game. It's got an okay combat system, but I don't know if you guys really like took a look at how honestly simplistic a lot of the combat is, right? Like especially if you're a two-handed weapon user, it's not a really complicated or deep game to play from a mechanic standpoint. So the mechanics are flashy and they kind of work, but they're not super fluid and they're not super engaging. They took away the party system from the original like past 3 major games that came in, which is also a loss. You just have a weird little bring up menu point and click interface and the game basically autopilots it for you. So that shit's gone. And the only thing that's left after that is the story. And they took away the nuance and the complexities and even sometimes the gray areas or like having to do evil in order to do good that was an option in the old games. That too is gone. The deep dialogue is gone. What's left?
Oh, do you know, like you have like this toxic positivity where if you try to like in the first Dragon Age, let's say you try to romance Liliana and Morrigan at the same time, right? If you get to a point, they find out about each other, and the one you choose over the other will lose 20 reputation with you, and they're very salty about it.
Yeah, like it changes some of that. Like you can get those unique skills because you
hold on. Let me say
right?
what I'm
yeah.
right?
Go ahead.
Like basically there was party drama, right? So you chose to romance 2 sexy women. You got Liliana and Morrigan, right? And you're going after both of them. And at one point the game basically confronts, like both of them come up to you because they found out, and they're basically making you choose, like which one of us do you want? And when you pick one, the other one will get really upset at you, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's
a relationship dynamic.
Yeah. Now, in the new Dragon Age, apparently, if you try to romance every single character...
No, they're all poly.
No. Listen. Like, at one point, you will have to choose. And when you make that choice, the other characters, like, completely forget that you were romancing them.
Really? They don't... I didn't have... When I played through, I could romance one after the other.
I think maybe it's like with some characters you can do that, but like from what I understand is that there are still some characters that like they don't want to make an orgy, right? Like they just want exclusivity. And if you romance those, like the other characters don't get upset because it's all about toxic positivity. Like there cannot be any drama within the party,
right?
Yeah, there's no drama within the party. It's just like everyone just likes each other.
Jesus. But it all boils down to the same thing, right? We've advanced in time, but the depth of the game has become paper thin, right? Because like I'm sure people in the chat here and chat chime in whether or not I'm speaking bullshit. But have you listened to the actual dialogue, right? Yes. Like the delivery of the dialogue, the content, the interaction, even the timing of how the speech is done. It's all phoned in.
Well, here's one of the things that I was talking about with my friend last night. They have a necromancer. Now, in Dragon Age 2, they go out of their way to show why people hate necromancy. Like, you get to sneak your mother into this city, right? And you bring your brother or sister, whatever you pick. And you live in the city, and at one point there's like this serial killer on the streets, and your mom is abducted. So you're like trying to find out what happened to her, And you descend in the sewers, and there's like this mountain of corpses that are mutilated, desecrated. And there's this guy that's a necromancer, and he tries to bring back his loved one. So like he stitched different parts of different corpses together, and he's making like this monstrosity. And it's got your mother's face, right? Like your mom was killed before you got there, and you have to kill her. It's like, this is a memorable quest, right? Because it makes you feel and experience shit. And it also tells you like why necromancy is evil. Like they're using demons to reanimate corpses. It's disgusting. It's vile, right?
And it has ripple effects nearby too. There could be other unrelated corpses that suddenly fucking wake up because of the amount of energy you pulled in to try to resurrect your dear old loved one.
Yeah, and those corpses are basically like someone's daughter, someone's son, someone's mother. So basically,
it's that moral area, the moral gray area, right? You may be doing.
it's pretty black, I would say. But anyway, right? So that's where you get in Dragon Age 2. Now, in the new Dragon Age, you got this necromancer that makes like some queer hand gestures, and he summons like soy skeletons and shit. Yeah. And he's getting in a confrontation with the Canari, and the Canari is like upset at him for casting magic. And then he finds out that the reason she doesn't like him is because he's a necromancer. And he's like, oh, I never knew you feel like that. I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, maybe it's my bad. And I'm thinking, okay, how can you show that this dialogue is mentally deficient? Like, let's replace it with something that's actually vile, like pedophilia, right? And imagine the same dialogue, but now it's like, I don't know why you hate me. It's like, well, because you're a pedo. We got a pedo in our midst. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that my affection for children upsets you so. Oh, you know what? Literally, that's how it sounds, right?
I didn't know you objected to
that's literally how it comes out. Like, this is how bad the writing is. Because if it's something that's truly vile to the point where it upsets this Kunari, then replacing it with something else that's vile, it should still sound the same, the dialogue, right? Like, it should still sound...
Well, let's not even begin talking about just how nerfed out the goddamn fucking hell that the Canari and all of that, like, I don't know if, like, so much for Ari Shuk and all of that shit. Like, oh man, they took the Cune, the Canari and all of that, and it's not even the same race anymore. Like, three games ago in Origin, these guys were ready to like skin the hell out of any magic user and anyone that was standing between them and their primal prosperity. And now suddenly they're walking around like they're champions of diversity. Like, what happened in those short years?
Dude, like the whole Canari thing, right? Like their whole ethos is that it's all for the collective. Like there's nothing for the greater. There's nothing individuality amongst them. Like everything is set up for them. Everything is for the greater good. And someone told me, it's like they took the Canari, which were pretty much like Allah Akbar, going to kill the infidel. Like that was the
They were hardcore. Like we will burn
and they made them, and they made the Canari into gays for Palestine.
Oh my god. Ouch. Yeah. Well, it's whatever they did to that guy, to that damn race, is a complete 180. That is for sure.
I mean, no, like think about it. When you have Stan in your party, and Stan, like the first time you meet him and you start talking to him, he's very stoic. Like he gives very short answers. He doesn't like to waste words. And when you talk to him and you're like, Stan, why did you choose to be a warrior? And he's like, choose? What does that mean? What does choice mean? Like, he doesn't understand. It's almost like he's an alien, right? And it creates, like, this cool immersion. It's like, wow, this is, like, an actual different race. Like, it's something, that you see in a fantasy. Like, it doesn't exist in real life. Yeah. And now it's literally like...
It gives the verisimilitude to the actual race. Like, wow, this is a guy from a really different culture. He's been raised a different way. He's
like, can I even find, like, some common ground so I can understand him, Like, and now the new Canari is kind of like that American chick that you see in TV shows where, like, the parents take care of everything for her. Like, they pay for her house, they pay for her food, they buy her expensive clothes. And she's like... Oh gosh, like my parents do not give me any type of freedom. Why can't you use my pronouns, Mom? Mom, why must you oppress me so? Like literally that. It's like there's no more fantasy element to it. There's no more it's just a human. She's literally just a human.
It's San Francisco conflict resolution. When you listen
San Francisco conflict.
to their dialogue. Their dialogue straight up, like, I mean, I've been to Cali enough. It sounds like street dialogue from over there, just as if they're playing improv it sounds like a San Francisco D&D session. There we go.
Yes. Pretty much. And like I remember and by the way, it's also awfully written. Like there's that scene where she sits at the table and she asserts dominance by announcing that she's they them now, right? And
yeah, that was a like
that feels like the writer is just spewing their frustrations and their problems onto the audience, doesn't it?
It to me, like, generally speaking, I can easily endure that kind of dialogue, even if I have to tab through it. Like, it doesn't usually affect me much, but that scene was hard to digest, and it was just because it was so out of place. Like, the entire fact that the whole scene starts on that premise adds nothing to the game. Like, you have a couple of little irrelevant dialogue choices, but other than that, the only thing it shows is that the writers had actually nothing of value story-wise to put in that time frame, that they had enough time to devote to this in the budget and voice act it, rig it, and then put it into a storyboard and play it out, right? Again, they had to devote money to that scene.
Yeah.
So they had nothing else of value that could have pushed the game instead.
No, but like that scene, let's analyze it a bit, right? So, like, she asserts dominance to her mother and says that she goes by they, them. And the mother goes like, okay, so what does that mean? She's like, well, it means that I'm not a man or a woman. And the mother is like, so what are you then? It's like, well, I just said I'm non-binary. And the mother goes like, okay, so in the wisdom of the Kun, in the book of our people, it is stated that there are people who do not identify as their gender at birth, and it's like they use like a weird name. It's like a Corval or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you're that.
They made up a term. Yeah.
Maybe you're that. So like the mother is actually trying. Like the mother is genuinely like struggling.
She's
to
trying
find...
to meet them to meet the person halfway.
Yeah,
have
they're
some form
trying...
of reconciliation.
Yeah, like they're trying to find some common ground, and she's like, why can't you just use the pronouns I have given you, mother? Why can't you just use my words? Stop picking at it and just be happy. And I'm like, how can you write a character like that? And the scene
no one talks like that.
Like, I mean, maybe they do. Maybe the writer talks like
sitcom.
that. Maybe the writer talks like that. But how can you assume that character is now going to be a likable character?
Well, exactly. It sets a wrong tone, right? The pacing for the character is off after that. Like your entire understanding of the character is now tainted with that attitude. Like, again, why?
Yeah, like the mother was trying. That's what makes it worse, right? Like that's what makes the writing worse, because the mother was actually trying to meet them halfway and be like, okay, well maybe the Kun says this and maybe you're like that, and they're like, no, mother, just use the fucking pronouns that I gave you.
it shows the disconnect, right, and the message that they're trying to promote. Because to them, like, take a look at the way people react to that scene on Twitter, right? On the ones that want to say that Veilguard is good, these people believe that in this scene, right, the mother is the one who's like not understanding or being unreasonable or whatnot, when in reality the vast majority of people will look at it like you said and say like, well, wait, the mother is new to this concept, right?
Yeah,
she's trying to reconcile it based on the stuff that she's been raised with and understand.
Yeah, like she's trying to rationalize it somehow. But anyway, here's how I would have made the scene, and you instantly make it not be cringe. And this is probably what they would have done in Mass Effect as well. So I gave you a picture of Stan, right? Now imagine if he is the father. And throughout the entire conversation, he just sits like this at the table. Like, he doesn't say anything. He just sits like that. And then the mother leaves. And Stan looks at his daughter, and he says, I helped raise a daughter. I don't know what you are, but it is clear to me that my daughter is now dead. Leave. I want to grieve. And then you, as the player, you get to side with either him, or you get to side with her, or you get to choose not to intervene in the family drama. Like that
I
would
gotta
actually.
say, like even that delivery right there, that's some fucking deep dialogue. Like that is setting up a hard goddamn decision. Like
Hey
that's
man,
the kind
I'm
of shit
writing
that
for the game, right? Like, I polish my writing skills a bit. But like that would actually create drama. That would actually create tension. That would actually like you add some music, because like you're curious, like what does the
yeah.
father think, right? Because he doesn't say anything. He just sits at the table, doesn't react, doesn't like he's not angry, he's not upset, and then just opens his mouth and with like a very deep voice that I can't voice act. He just says those lines, right?
Mhm.
And then you as the player, you have like a timed event, like you gotta answer really fast, like side with him,
Yeah,
side with her.
yeah, you can't sit there and roll your tongue about it, right? You got to answer within that period of time. But yeah, that is dialogue for a hard decision, right? A story creating decision. But they don't have that kind of delivery. They don't have that kind of forethought when they're creating these dialogues. It's always skin deep. Just the surface is all you
Yeah.
get.
It's
And
also the fact
that
that
confuses me.
apparently that's the outer shock that I show. Look, it's been
Yeah,
more than a
that
decade
that
since
was
I played.
indeed Arashok that
Yeah,
you
it's
that
it's
you
more than a decade since I played the game, so give me a break.
Oh,
But
don't sweat it. You don't sweat it.
a lot of people are pointing out where's the father. My point is this doesn't even apply to the Canari race, right? Like
Yeah.
they humanize the Canari race because if you like, for instance, the name Stern, the name Stan, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even his name; it was his role. Like they don't even
Yes.
have names; they have roles, right? So the concept that I was being like I don't identify with the gender like what are you talking about? Like your first issue would be with the Kun and your people. Like you would be a betrayer to your people. They have a name for that, Val Shot or some shit. Like a Talvash or whatever, right? Like she would be declared a Talvash just right out of town. Like there is no such thing as like. I mean, you can have a character that just doesn't like the way that her people does things, which is fine.
Yeah,
But
but
like
you,
the
you
la-
have
the
to accept exile.
but in order for her to go to the gender, that would be like on the last line of things. Like she would have to first go with the fact that she doesn't like the role she got in life. She doesn't like the way
Yeah,
that
I
her
mean,
people are doing things.
imagine like imagine from the Dragon Age story perspective, right?
Yeah.
She starts or they start whining at the Qun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole tribe council of elders and all of that shit. And now suddenly it's like, all right, we'll grant you this, and then like what? There's gonna be a line of God knows how many hundreds of thousand other like Canari that will also maybe want to have to do this. It's the whole precedent of it all, right? Like the Qun would have said, "Man, fuck you, get back in your role or get out
Well,
of town."
from my
Like,
understanding, like the whole thing with the Canari is that they're incredibly intense people, kind of like the
yeah,
Vulcans, and they're also
they're
incredibly strong. Like they
super
have
they're super conservative, super conservative.
Well, no, it's also like as a Kunari, as a creature, they're incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Like they're strong like 5 men, and they have like stone
Yeah, but
embedded in their
they
flesh
are
and stuff.
they are culturally conservative. I'm not
No, no,
talking
no. But listen,
conservative
listen,
like
listen. Right?
political. I'm talking about
no, I get it.
mindset.
But
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that they're not humans, right? Like they're a different
No, they're
race,
not.
and they're incredibly strong, and they were very destructive before the Kun came out and brought order. So they have to live this way, because otherwise it's kind of like the Volcas, like unleashing their emotions basically and
Yeah,
destroying
that's
their
right.
right. It's not like that they can have like the same level of philosophy and understanding that we have in our culture, because they're a completely different race than humans. They're like a fantasy race that it's a lot more destructive. Their emotions
Yeah.
are different.
Applying human ethics and human morality to an alien race is the most narcissistic fucking thing we can ever come up with.
Yeah,
Like,
they're half dragon, half elf, if I remember correctly.
yeah, exactly.
So like, yeah, like basically, if you just allow them to pick and choose and you get rid of the Kun, you may actually end up with them destroying themselves. Like you
Probably.
you may actually
It
end
would-
up
it
with them
would-
just burning down their own cities and shit.
We're talking about kicking out one of the foundation pillars of their entire society right out from underneath them.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but there ain't very many civilizations around that could withstand, especially in before mass media, that could withstand a major pillar completely getting removed out from under it, like say a ruling family or a a religious foundation.
Yeah.
No, that shit would devolve into civil war in no time.
Yeah. Isn't there a throwaway line that they no longer follow the Kun? I think they're like a
There was
subsect.
something.
Yeah, there
There
are
was
a
something
subsect of the Canari that don't follow the Kun.
yeah, there were a splinter away group, but there was also a part in Inquisition that addresses some of that shit as well.
Yeah,
But
the Iron Bull character.
yeah. But I
He
don't
has to
recall all
make
the
a
details.
decision between his mercenary group or following the Kun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ah, when games used to have actual choices that matter.
And the thing is, like, there's another dialogue, and I want to make a video about this, but this one really bothers me. She has like a problem about her being a tomboy, because at the end of the day, that's what she is, right? Like she's just a woman that likes to be more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line where she says, "Who likes being a woman?" And I'm thinking like, no, seriously, that's in the game. And
I know. I played it.
I'm thinking like, what type? Like, imagine if a Chad said that. Like, there is no circumstance in which it would be forgiven by the left. Like if Andrew Tate said something like that, it would be like misogyny. But for some fucking reason, when it's said through the prism of the LGBT ideology, it's okay.
All I know is when I heard that line, for me, the projection meter spiked, man.
Yeah.
Like that's someone writing a personal dissatisfaction of their own that they got to deal with, like through their therapist or whatever. Leave that shit out of games.
Do you think it will do well?
As we already know, it's not doing well, man. You don't have a near $400 million investment do well when you haven't cracked 50K concurrent players.
Are you sure it's
Right?
$400 million? Like, where are you getting the number from?
It's 217 million, not counting the marketing, and the marketing is usually 75 to 100% of the game's original value, right? That's just how projects work. Right now, even let's say, okay, let's be like really generous, and let's say even if it's 150 million, and it's 200 something million, but let's say it's 150 million, right? They got bodied by the Monster Hunter demo, which got 400 something thousand, and the Call of Duty 6 demo, which got something like 800,000.
Do you know what the cope is?
What?
That the demos are free and people just don't have $50 to spend on this game.
No. If the game was, this is a AAA title. Like, this is Dragon Age. People used to take vacation in advance in order to play Dragon Age on day of fucking release. It is a major IP. It doesn't matter if it's 40
Yeah, that's
bucks.
what I said. It's like there used to be a time when I would just go to school 10 kilometers going back on snow, heat, and rain just to save money to buy a Warcraft title.
Yeah, that's like saying, oh, well, it's forgivable that the latest Star Wars only had, say, 200,000 or say like 2 million.
They actually did say that. Like that was what I laughed, because like there was a Star Wars title that came out. I think it was the one with Solo. And they were saying, well, yeah, but there's a lot of other movies that came out. It's like Deadpool, and there's like 3 others that came out, and that's why Star Wars didn't do well. And like, motherfucker, like Star Wars should have pulled away from those movies. Like, it should be Deadpool should be like, no, we're not releasing now because Star Wars is coming out.
Exactly. It should have been the other fucking way around. Star Wars is the big dick IP.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Dragon Age is a big dick IP. So the fact that I think it's still under 50K, right? I haven't checked Steam DB, but before yesterday, the top had only been around 47,000. That's nasty bad.
The chat says that no one mentioned the budget for this. Like, where did you get like the original budget from? The one before the marketing.
Well, I had got it that number. I had got it from an ongoing Twitter thread, and that was like linked to their original projections, because you have to understand, Veilguard has already been earmarked, right? So that number had come in from the last reported numbers that they put in at the end of their quarterly budget.
From my insiders, and again, like, take it with a grain of salt, but I do trust
Yeah.
the
Well,
source.
either way, if you take a look at the actual EA releases, you'll be able to find exactly the number because it's like Veilguard is a project that's already earmarked since 2 years.
So from
So
my
they're
insiders, like someone that works at EA,
yeah,
it's around middle management. Like it's not really higher up. But from what he heard on the office, so it's like he heard she said type of story, is that they were trying to capture the old audience with the name of the title while appealing to
yeah,
what they consider to be the young generation.
yeah.
And
Trojan
they
horsing that.
they also wanted to um, use the culture war for marketing, like the idea you have like something divisive, and then people
Yeah,
talk about it, it's trending on Twitter, like people just talk about it without being able to escape it, because like YouTubers make videos and they all talk about the name, so like
yeah.
that's free
They were trying
marketing
to
for
lean
them.
on the Streisand effect in order
Yeah.
to make
and,
up for their
and the
marketing.
thing is, like, they expected it's going to be a little gay, but they didn't expect that they will go like full 11 mode, like they didn't because like they always had like a little gay in the Dragon Ages, right? And they thought like, oh well, I mean, they may go a little bit overboard, but like not by much.
Yeah.
But these
Well,
activists with this game, like they just went full steam ahead. They like warp speed, full down
it's well,
stops.
I mean, it's such easy ammunition, and at the same time, they're doing the same thing. They're hiding behind the whole woke shit as a shield, saying, "Oh yeah, look, they're this and that isms." Then instead of just saying that the game was just bad.
Well, yeah, but like, again, it is also hyper woke in the sense that people don't like being given an HR session, because that's
Yeah,
what it is. Like, you have like 3 or 4 events where you're actually in an HR struggle
yeah,
session. Like, you as the player, you have no control over
yeah.
what the
It's like a
characters.
diversity. It's like a diversity PowerPoint only made
Yeah,
with bad fucking 3D animation.
yeah,
Like seriously,
like literally like that, and no one likes those, right? Like, no
I don't
one
want to be
likes being.
preached at.
Yeah,
Unless I'm being preached at about like the morals of like the church from that from the in-game perspective and not the San Francisco perspective. Unless I'm being preached at from like if it was like let's say we take out that whole like the whole non-binary thing, right?
mm-hmm.
And instead we come in with a scenario or a thing from like the dude with in the church, right?
Yeah.
And he comes in and he starts basically badgering you on what you should be doing and how you're treating people based on the church in the like the church's view in the game. That kind of preaching is in character.
But
But
even
this
then, like,
whole
I would still want to have a choice, right? Like, as a player, I
yeah, of
would be
course you
able
want the choice. That's
to
the
want to have a
point.
choice
This
to like
whole
listen to him, slap him, like let me
exactly.
role play basically.
But look at the whole like pulling a barb scene,
God.
right?
Okay.
You sit there, and the only thing you do at the end is you choose one of 3 affirmative. Like
Yeah.
you don't have the option to say that has got to be the stupidest shit I've heard in a long time. And or even just the ability to call them out. It's like, oh, so you're telling me that the only like even if someone is sincere in saying they're sorry, it's not enough unless they put in some sort of physical task in order to earn it's like you've apologized. If you're sincere about it, that should be fucking it. What's this bullshit about having to do 10 fucking push-ups or having to put on a performance piece in order to justify your apology?
It feels
Like,
like
that's
this
some
is the
stupid shit,
writer.
man.
It feels like this is the writer who wants to have the power to make people suffer. Because
Yeah,
like it
that's
implies
exactly what it is.
it's kind of like a
wanting to
religious
grab
thing where you
power.
gotta whip the back because your body is sinful, and
Yeah.
it's like a form of penance for what you did, right?
It's literally the capability of saying, "Oh, I choose to be offended. As such, now I exact a penance upon you. I have the right to
Can
exact
you
a penance
imagine,
upon
like, okay, you know how sometimes you meet a foreigner and they have like a difficult to pronounce name because they're foreigner, right? Like Susan
Yeah.
Wojcicki, like the Polish
Fuck, man.
CEO, right?
The amount of times that happened to me.
Yeah. So anyway, right? Like, imagine you meet someone that has like a difficult to pronounce name and you forget it or
Yeah.
you misspell it, and then that person's like, "No, you now need to do 20 push-ups because you tried to erase me." It's like,
Oh fuck, man. Spot on that shit. Like that's a fantastic example because like I got a super ass French name and I do business like almost 300 out of 365 days of the year with people in the USA, My name gets butchered all the time. You know what you do?
You
You
just
take it in
understand it, yeah.
stride.
Yeah.
Because they didn't call you fuckface. They tried to say your name. All right? Just fucking meet them halfway, make a joke out about it. You know,
Oh,
like
I just
break
tell
the ice with
foreigners
that
to
shit
call me
instead.
V. Like, it's the same thing, right? Like, when I meet someone and they're like, "Oh, what's your name?" And if they're a foreigner, I just like, look, just call me V. It's fine, right?
Yeah.
Because I understand, like, you never speak Romanian. You don't like, you're not going to say my mother's name properly. You're going to butcher it. It's like, just okay.
Yeah, and yeah, Monkey, I am indeed French. And like, man,
Republicans hire a bad comedian, says, oh shit, my GNU. I can't see his entire name. It's, anyway.
oh shit, my gluna fell off.
Anyway,
right.
Republicans hire a bad comedian, and in a few days, the Democrats kill the most famous squirrel in the world. They always manage to kill him.
Man.
Oh, okay, the comedian thing.
No
We need
one's
to talk
talking
about
the October surprise. Everyone was talking about the October surprise, but now it's the November disasters.
the November disaster. Yeah. So basically, no, listen. Like, this is funny. The entire media is upset about the fact that Donald Trump had the comedian and he made the joke about Puerto Ricans or some shit. And apparently, like, the media was like, "But don't you think that you need to have the genetic lineage that connects you to the Puerto Ricans so you can make a joke about it? That's a malpractice joke." How, like, the fabric of reality was quaking when that comedian opened his mouth. And
You almost summoned Cthulhu. What are you doing?
Yeah. And literally, like, you know, like, the media is struggling to sum up the outrage. And the next day, Joe Biden is like, yeah, these Republicans are garbage. Garbage.
It's outrage farming. That's all it is, man.
But, like, how can you not look at it and say that the man is trying to sabotage Kamala Harris? Like, there is no fucking way that he is this clueless. Like, we got the red Trump MAGA hat that he wore. We had him, like, schedule events over her 3 times by now.
That thing is nothing, V. People, candidates wear hats all the fucking time. I mean, to me, I've seen it since I was young. So I don't see the hat thing.
Come on. Have you seen it? Like, imagine this. If I'm running against you and I'm wearing your fucking hat, wouldn't that, like, be a little bit weird?
Dude, man, I remember looking at, like, old ass, like, archival broadsheets, like the like when we were learning about history, and I remember what's his face wearing a button that even says "I like Ike." Like,
the thing that I would compare this if is Donald Trump would have worn the pussy hat that Hillary Clinton made. Like, that would have been, it's like, what the fuck? You know?
I mean, Biden is bitter for sure because, like, they stepped up Kamala instead of him, and Biden wanted his legacy moment. But I don't know.
You don't think he's trying to
that I
screw
know
her
he's
up.
doing because he's being a pissant about it or salty.
Yeah.
But the hat thing, I don't know. I don't buy the hat thing.
No, but, like, overall, do you think he's trying to sabotage her or not?
No, he'd be pretty stupid to do that.
I see. Well, we're going to disagree. Let's see. There was one more thing. Okay, the Twitch CEO is a Gunner. Did you know this?
A Gunner?
A Gunner. Yes, he has been caught gunning.
Gunning.
Yes.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I remember when he was putting a display of the new Twitch feature, and they take a look at his his horizontal ribbon, and it's all basically like hot tub streamers.
So apparently, people hacked his account, and they found out that the email he uses for his resume was also an email that he used to make an account on Pornhub and several other adult websites that are on Twitch.
Are you fucking shitting me?
No, this is a thing that happened. Now, I was looking at the news, and I was yeah, and I was like, okay, so, like, what can I talk about it? Like, people want me to discuss it. Like, is he into some kinky shit? Is to some depraved? No, he doesn't even like VTubers. He just likes, like, normal women. And
all
I'm
right,
like,
well, hang on, V.
Yeah.
First of all, you ninja'd your avatar.
My phone battery died. There's nothing I can do about it.
Sorry, chat. The troll is gone. Long live the troll.
It is gone, yes. The chat is used to it by now. But anyway, right, so it turns out that literally the whole story is old man likes porn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so where's the news then? Like, what is newsworthy in this? It's like, it's kind of like...
He's a man with access to a platform,
Yeah.
and he's going to use it for his benefit.
No, he's not even using his platform. Like, that's the thing, right? He's using no, I'm not kidding. Like he was using Pornhub in another one. So
Oh, I'm talking about the Twitch part, yeah. But Pornhub, yes, go on.
this is kind of like a teenager coming up to me going, it's like, I found my dad's porn magazine. And I'm like, okay, so put it back. Fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I'll tell Dad to hide the box better next time. Put that shit back and wash your hands.
Yeah, it's like, but daddy is married. It's like, okay, is he cheating? Yes, with the porn magazine. I'm like, okay, but like, maybe your mom knows. How can she know, like, what type of woman would allow? And it's like, well, if it's in the English language, the concept of dad's porn magazine, if it's so ingrained, I'm pretty sure a lot of women know, and they're just coping.
Besides, maybe he's reading it for the articles. Maybe.
That's true. You know, like, apparently that was a thing. Like, I never had a Playboy magazine in my life, but apparently, like, there were good articles because people would buy it for the lewd, and the articles were actually really good.
Yeah, they had some, in Playboy specifically, and another one, Playboy had actual journalists writing for it. The other side, though, like there was another publication back in my youth called Hustler, which was a lot more, in your face, straight up XXX stuff. But actually, back when I was younger, even like one of my friend's parents actually had a subscription to it, and they had an article that even I had cut out to use in one of my, I had to cut it out so that the teacher didn't know, but I wound up using it as a reference in one of the stupid ass science projects when I was younger. So they actually had useful fucking content in Playboy. Imagine that. Yeah, that's right. Kurgan 0822 says Playboy had great interviews. Yes, they had interviews with action heroes and movie directors and shit, to tell about how they did the special effects back in the day before they had YouTube and all of that shit. So it actually made a lot of real niche information accessible, despite it being a porn mag. It's kind of freaky.
Look, what Christopher Kittig is saying, he only reads the articles, no one reads the pictures. Thems are all about sexual liberation until the opposition is into it. Then they put their Puritan mask to judge as hard as possible. Yeah, no, the thing with the Gunner, I generally don't care about the insult. But, it used to be a man that masturbates compulsively, right? You're addicted, you're doing it at work, you're doing it for hours, your entire room has, the paraphernalia, right? That is a problem. But now it just is used to describe heteronormative behavior, like a man with a sex drive. Because I've never seen it being used against women when they like their yaoi shit, or they're into, their 50 Shades of Grey or Romantica or whatever stuff. No one calls them Gunners. And no one calls Gunners the LGBT community when they also seem to share a lot of stuff.
Yeah, or
right?
they straight up fetishize or brain ship their shit together.
Yeah, no one calls Gunner that. But the moment you have a guy, and I get it, he's the Twitch CEO, okay, and you found his porn magazines, you found dad's porn magazines, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, oh, I as an asexual being, I would never, I can't imagine a company, I literally had this. I can't imagine a corporation being led by a guy that actually watches lewd stuff on the internet. How is this possible? All the corporations have LGBT agendas and officers, right?
Yeah, oh no, my ace arrow sensitivities have been damaged.
No, they're actually trying to say that every single corporation has LGBT quotas, and they have the ESG scores where you gotta have a certain number of allies in positions of power. How can you have one straight man as the CEO? Now, I want to point out that I do not like the Twitch CEO. Okay,
I don't generally,
yeah, this is completely separate and detached from what he did to the platform for all the things that he's doing. It's just people want me to talk about something that I don't consider it to be newsworthy. Yeah. I don't see it shocking. I don't see it bewildering or bizarre or okay, you got a man that likes to see women. All right. How often? Oh, you don't know.
That's it's not exactly a dog bites man. It's a dog bites man moment, right? It's not man bite dog issue. Yeah. But the bigger deal for me is I fucking wish he'd stop Twitch is going after a bunch of my favorite freaking streamers because of the way that they handle
No, I hate the way they do the
moderation,
platform.
man.
Like I hate the way they do the platform. But like the thing is, if you were to tell me that he does it so often, or he does it at work, or he's into like some Brazilian fart fetish or vore or whatever the fuck, then I'll be like, oh my god, yeah, that's like, you know, that's newsworthy. But like, okay, he's watching like basic bitch stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Eh.
And Hrist, Bezos owns Twitch, yes, in the sense that he's the CEO of Amazon, and Twitch exists as an attached entity. So Twitch also has its own CEO. So they have what's called budgeting silos. So they're like two corporations where one owns the other, but they operate via independent finance lines. So they're supposed to take decisions separately if they can.
People say it's the message, but he didn't come out and say it, right? Like people hacked him. It's another thing.
Yeah.
Like he got hacked. Look, this is how I'll end this. If you think that what he does is beyond the pale, you should ask your dad if he doesn't do the same.
Yeah. I mean, the behavior we saw, while still could be considered creepy, at the end of the day, it's heteronormal.
Heteronormal, yeah. I wouldn't even say it's creepy. Like, okay, old man browses the internet.
Well, there were some of those that were really young, right?
Was it? Because I haven't looked. No, I haven't looked through what he was browsing.
Not the Pornhub shit, right? Never mind the Pornhub. I don't know. I never looked into that part, but I'm talking about when he did his exposure on the new Twitch features. And he was.
Oh, that's another thing.
Phone,
yeah,
right. And he went through his ribbon, right? There were some young fucking girls.
Yeah, that can be creepy. But I think like all of them are 18, right? Because they're on Twitch, so like you gotta be 18 to stream like that. Don't you?
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they're all 18 or over in that stupid hot tub category. I'm sure. No, there's a number of people who are skirting that fucking line to make the money. I'm certain of it.
Jesus. I mean, I generally don't know. If that's the case, then yeah, that would be a scandal.
If you take a look during prime time, there's some disturbing camera shit.
I don't watch Twitch.
Scary.
I don't go on Twitch, so I generally don't know. But like, I thought that if you wanna do the hot tub
if I were a father, I'd be really worried about Twitch.
I mean, it's like with every vice, right? Like if your kid is doing drugs or some shit, then yeah, you know, or they're doing heavy alcoholism, sure.
Yep.
Yeah. But I generally thought that the content on Twitch, like all the hot tub stuff, is at least 18. Like you gotta be 18. How do they get paid if they're under 18? Actually.
Well, I mean, it depends on like the whole under 18 thing, right? It's enforced via what they call a weak gatekeep, right? The gatekeep for the under 18 shit is the account registered, and if the account is registered, does it have a birth date, or is it connected to a parent's account with, like, say, Amazon Prime, right? Yeah. Where the birth date can be confirmed. If not, the person can say whatever fucking birth date they want.
I see.
Right? So the actual safeguards in place at Twitch are almost zero. The only thing is that let's say the person wants to use their Twitch Prime or the Amazon Prime sub, right, as a free thing. Mm-hmm. Well, then they have to link their account, which can verify their age. But outside of that, there's not it's not exactly a bouncer at a door keeping you from getting into the club.
I mean, I would be in favor of making it stricter for content creators to make sure that they're 18.
But then you have to get into the place where, one, how do you verify the age? And then two, if you verify the age, you have to also retain the data in order to be able to verify.
Well, if you're a content creator and you get paid, you need a credit card, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there you go.
But wait, hang on. Now you're getting into the dark side of it, right? Because there was about, we'll say 2 years before COVID, if you guys remember back then, there was an issue where certain hot content streamers were streaming, but then the payment doesn't go to their credit card, it goes to another person's credit card. Understand, right? Someone else can put their credit card and still have an underage streamer doing whatever the fuck they want.
Then you gotta make sure that the name on the credit card and the streamer matches, right?
Right, but then again, you get to that next level. How do you keep and control that information, which then becomes an information retention? Then if you get hacked, like the reason why companies use weak gatekeeps is because it prevents them from having to do the custodianship of the sensitive information of your identity.
No, I get that, right? Because like if the company gets hacked and all your information is leaked, then you probably wouldn't like ending up like
Then
the
you
Twitch
have another
CEO.
legal issue on your hands, right?
Anyway, thank you for
crazy
being here,
concept,
Ors.
right?
I understand you need to go play Dungeons and Dragons, so I'll entertain
It's not
the chat.
Dungeons and Dragons, but it is tabletop game. Yes.
I will entertain the chat a little bit more. So thank you for stopping by.
Hey, I appreciate it all the time, man. See you guys later.
Derna, we're talking about a platform that makes its money from having grown women shake it for tweet boys with their parents' credit card. I gotta say, this is like what I actually hate about Twitch. As much as I support, lewdness, and I'm fine like with a lot of stuff. I don't like the fact that Twitch isn't a gaming platform anymore. Like it actually used to be specifically for gaming, and then you had like a lot of women coming up. And they were just showing recorded footage of video game while streaming with big cleavages. And if you called them out on it, if you were saying, hey, like, I know what you're doing, they would have said that you're being a misogynistic pig, that you only care about tits, because they're actually there to play a game. So, like, heavy levels of gaslighting. And the thing that I really dislike is, like, why not just make a spin-off for Twitch? Like, have a spin-off where you have, like, all the women doing lewd stuff, and you need to be an adult to enter. And everyone would be fine and just, like, keep the Twitch for gaming. But, well, to be honest, though, like, I don't even know if it's possible in 2024 because, like, there aren't that many cool games that are worth streaming. So maybe this is why, like, Twitch is diversifying and they have, like, a lot of political shit. Because if you're, like, even the gaming streamers, like, even the people that play games all the time, like Asmongold and stuff, they don't play that much. Like, they will have a Let's Play when a new game comes out, but then they will have to talk about politics or videos, reacts, and stuff like that, so... It used to be a gaming platform, yeah. I wouldn't say that women ruined it, right? Because at the end of the day, men chose the content. Like, there was nothing stopping men from watching other men play video games. Like, men chose to watch these girl streamers. So, they're the ones that created the popularity. Stream old games? That's an idea. I will try, but I don't think it's as popular as you think. Like, a lot of people, when they see old games, they see the bad graphics and they tune out. Can I read your super? I'm sorry if I missed it. Let me go to it right away. Or is the game Subverse, a Mass Effect corn parody, has better dialogue and voice acting? Oh my goodness. I wish Words was still here. But that game, from what I understand, isn't corn anymore. Like, they have an identity crisis. They don't know what to do with it. It's a really bad game as well. Like, they started off strong by making fun of Mass Effect, and a lot of people were promoting it, and they got a lot of donations. And from my understanding, like, they got a lot of social justice activists on the team, right? And they started going, it's like, no, we actually want to make this game be more taken seriously. Which, again, is just bizarre. I think it started with Arch. Yeah, now I remember. So, like, basically you have this game Subverse. And it starts off, like, very strong because they're making fun of Mass Effect. They're making fun of game journalists. They're making fun of Tim Pool. So it was, like, a parody. And it also had, like, adult scenes in it. It had, like, 3D adult stuff. And Arch has an interview with the developers. Like he actually gets the developers on his channel, and the interview goes great. Like, they're getting a lot of donations, they're getting more followers, everything goes good. And then the community goes, it's like, well, why'd you go on the channel of a Nazi, and Arch is a fascist, Arch is a fascist. So now they disavow Arch. And the mainstream media is writing about Arch, right? Because, like, it's one thing when you're being disavowed by a random content creator. It's another thing when you're disavowed by a company. Now it's newsworthy. So now you have, like, the Daily Dot, and you have, like, other journalistic outlets just attacking Arch's channel. And Arch gets really annoyed, and he's like, you know what? I'm never going to get developers like this on my channel again. Like, it's too risky. I'm not, like, I thought that I'm doing them a favor, and they were using this fake chat logs in order to get him in trouble. So eventually the developers come out and they say, well, yeah, we can't confirm that what Arch said is actually that, and, we apologize, but by then it was too late. And after that, I think they got like a lot of social justice activists within their company because they immediately like stopped moving away from the corn, which is what made people into the game in the first place. And they're now like talking about, oh well, we need our game to mature, and they went into a completely different direction. I don't know what they're doing now. I have no idea. But what I do know is that they lost steam and they lost the popularity. And also, like, one of the problems with the game was that while the adult scenes were really good, the gameplay and the scenes weren't connected. So like, you would have, like, this weird game where you're moving with the spaceship and you're firing at random stuff. And it's, like, kind of fun, but it wasn't connected to the actual, the actual scene and the characters. It was, like, becoming really repetitive and dumb after a while. It was more like a chore. So yeah, it's still a corn game, but most of their resources were invested in other things. And it's like, oh, fine, whatever. Like, they could have actually be a scene breaker, like just end up like the next orc massage or something like that, but nah. A lot of people have lost faith, and a lot of people were very disappointed in it. My favorite DK personality, High Spoon. There's like, my favorite DK is actually getting a new costume. So my favorite one is Isabella. Let's see if I can find a picture of her. She's a girl that is a wife material, basically. Like, she just wants to be your wife. That's it. That's her story. Yeah, there you go. She flies around, like she flies around, and she just wants to be your wife. And this is like the type of woman that is very wholesome. Does my wife have a favorite Nikkei? My wife played Genshin Impact for a while, and she liked the environment and it relaxed her. But she never got into Nikkei. They always flied, yes. Arch is a gentleman. He will have to be more like AZ and refuse to talk to people with bad intentions. Well, he didn't know that they have bad intentions. For those of you who haven't played the game, this character is like a horror character. Like, this waifu is one of the Nikkeis that has like a horror story. Like, she actually takes advantage of the player when he has a broken leg and locks you in a bunker. It makes you entirely dependent on her. Like, she doesn't allow you to get out. She's withholding medicine from you so you can't get better. And her whole thing is that she wanted to have a normal family. Like, she wants you to act like a husband while she cooks you meals. Like, she cooks you food and watches movies together with you. Like, that's her thing. Like, she's a horrifying personality. Wasn't Arch's only political act up until that point being friends with you? No, the thing with Arch, like, you gotta understand. It's not about his politics. It's not about what he says. If you are a person that's against corporations, like if you don't like wokeness, if you don't like, the current status quo, if you don't like diversity, equity, and blah, 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 and you also manage to gain a following. So let's say you get, 100,000 followers. There will be unhinged individuals on the internet that hate you because you're successful and you're talking against their corporations. Like, that's it. They don't really care, oh, you're a fascist or that. No, they don't give a shit about that, right? Like, they just care that you are effective at what you do. So what they are going to start doing is they're going to start digging through your past. They're going to start trying to see if they can take clips out of context. They're going to start to see if you associate with anyone that's bad. And then they were going to try to get you canceled, right? So like, if you watch what happened with Destiny or what happened with Vosh, like these people were popular for years, and they said and did a lot of shit that no one cared about. You know, same with Hassan Piker. Like, oh, he's getting an actual terrorist on his stream, and no one cares about, right? And it's only until they jump out of the graces of these individuals. It's only until Destiny has a take that they don't like, or it's only until Vosh says something that they hate. And all of a sudden, they seem to find clips, and they seem to find stuff, and it's not like they always had a problem with these individuals, or that the problem is the stuff they find. You know, like it's not outrageous for them that Vosh said these things, because like he said it before and they knew it, but they still watched him, right? It's only when he has a take that they don't like that they use those clips in order to weaponize bureaucracy, pretty much. And it's the same thing with what happened with Arch, right? Like, they even listened to his lore videos, they liked his channel until he started talking against diversity. And then it's like, oh, well, we have these clips where he said that goblins in this universe are like house N-words. And he said it once after like 10,000 hours of footage. And then on this Discord server, we found this. We can't verify that he said it, but we're going to assume he did because it looks good, right? So this is pretty much what's happening. It's not that they actually go after him because of his political leanings or views or whatever. They just don't like the man, and they want him to shut up. Like, what's happening with grooms now, right? And I explained it. Like, they just don't understand why people still watch grooms, and I did my best to explain them. It's like, people watch grooms because they view it as them hiring him so he destabilizes the woke. That's why they watch grooms. Like, they're not interested in emulating his life. They're not interested in giving him money. They're not interested in any of that. They just want him to keep using his big platform in order to talk about the shit that's happening in the industry. That's it, right? Now, what I find interesting is that I actually know a couple of people that backed his game, and they don't give a shit that he's not doing the game anymore. Like, they're like, well, when we give money, like, it was Kickstarter, and we actually knew that there's a chance that he won't deliver it, and we hope that he will. But like, they're not as invested as 9 out of 10 times people who bring up his video game aren't his backers. And I just find that interesting. I'm not saying like you don't have the right to bring it up. Like, of course you do. It's just like interesting that the people who aren't his backers are more upset about it than the backers themselves. And it's also interesting that they didn't complain about this, they didn't talk about this until he started talking about video games. Because like, Grooves was on Twitter for so long, and he had the exact same takes. It's just like people didn't know about him, and for some reason, no one attacked him. Like, not a single person. Now they're attacking. And it's like, okay, whatever. I hope he is a bad person. I hope he is the worst person imaginable, because this is the type of person I like to send against the woke ideology. I think that's the type of person they deserve to be sent, because I know the type of people that are on their side. Like, let's talk about, you know, the one that started it all, Anita Sarkeesian. If it took an Anita Sarkeesian who also lied about her project, who also lied about game development, who also lied about all the shit to start it, then maybe it takes another liar and grifter to stop it. Get fucked. I'm having fun seeing the Republican femboys versus the Democrat femboys on Twitter. It's wacky fun. It is. And thank you, Alexander Laura, for the super chat. Let's see. I have swept for groups. I did sweep for him. Yeah. No, the reason I keep sweeping for groups is that if you watch the trend, it's not about grooms. Every single content creator on the right, every single one, the moment they become effective, oh, there's problems with them. Oh, the Quartering did this. Oh, Asmongold did that. Oh, Grooms did. I don't fucking care at this point. Like, I'm not emulating their behavior. I'm not asking people to emulate their behavior. No one is ever going to be perfect. Shut the fuck up and let the people just do their thing. I mean, like, to be honest, it's not like, I'm not even contributing to him. I'm not collabing with him. I'm not doing streams with him. All I'm doing is I identify as non-binary. That's it. That's the only thing I need to do. Not buy the games. That's my win condition. I don't buy the games. And it frustrates the living shit out of some people on Twitter because I don't want to buy the games. I don't buy the games and I make fun of the games. That's it. I don't care if the information that Grooms is putting up is fact checked or not, because I can fact check it myself, right? If Group says something stupid, that's fine. I can figure it out if it's true or not myself. I don't need him to like constantly post 100% accurate shit. I figured it out. And there was like, well, yeah, but like if he does that, then he loses credibility. It's like, who cares about credibility? Just don't buy the game. That's it. That's all you need to do. Like, I'm not taking his wisdom. I'm not taking his gospel. I don't believe everything he posts. I just don't buy the game. Just don't buy the game. Who is Grooms? Grooms is a person that worked on Blizzard, higher up. He worked during Warcraft 3. He worked during Diablo. He worked during World of Warcraft. And by the way, I don't ask people to do what I do either. Like, you can follow who you want. You can choose what type of people you want. But I'm a little stubborn. I'm difficult that way. I'm difficult. I generally don't care about the personality of the people I follow. I do not give a shit. I'm the associator. I will associate. I will associate based on what I need. And if I need a person to destabilize the woke industry and I see that he's effective at that, I will follow him. I associate it. Oh, but V, he didn't back his game. I don't care. But V, how can you not? I just don't. I retweet and I like. That's what I do. I'm a horrible person. I'm the liker and the retweeter. Does he groom brides, horses, or kid? No, I don't even know why his name is Grooms. He's not. I don't think it's connected to groomer. It's just like, it's spelled differently. It's like this, right? Typical communist factory worker. You will do the job, and I don't care what else you do. Honestly, this is the Eastern European mentality. Just do the job. Just do the job. The only way I would stop associating with him is like if he loses followers. If he becomes irrelevant. If he loses followers and if he becomes irrelevant and then he doesn't do the job, I will have to stop associating. Horrible but honest. It is what it is. If you can replace him, if you can give him someone else that has a bigger platform than him and they're connected to the gaming industry and they're more morally righteous, sure, I will follow someone else. Like, that's fine. That's fine. If you don't like Grooms, do what he does, do it better, and be more virtuous, and I will follow you. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Not to mention, I was told not to follow Synthetic Man either. And it was like, okay, so I want to follow people that take the piss of woke games. Like, that's my goal in life. That's what I want. I want to follow people that take the piss out of AAA games. But there's a list of people that I'm told I'm not allowed to follow. What if I tell those people giving me the list to fuck up? How about that? Am I allowed? Like, you're giving me a list of people that I shouldn't follow, and instead I'm telling you to fuck off. Is that acceptable? Is that fine? Can we live like that? Like what? Seriously, like, it's so annoying. I don't even follow Synthetic Man, but people are like, you shouldn't like him. It's like, why? Because he said that I don't care. Is he taking the piss on AAA game? Yeah, okay, I like him. Why is it so funny? I'm a one-issue voter. Who else shouldn't I follow? You shouldn't follow Asmongold because he's a grifter. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, are you telling me that when he finishes the streams, he actually enjoys the games he's shooting on? Like, what does it mean? It's like, oh, he's talking about this because he's making money. Well, why are people giving him money then if it's not an important issue? God. No, but seriously, like, I would understand if it was one person. Like, don't follow this guy because he's really, really bad. I'm like, okay. But there's a list. There's a fucking list of people you shouldn't associate. Oh, motherfucker, I'm the associator then. Fuck you, don't tell me what to do. I'm a nonconformist. I don't conform. Yeah, everyone I don't like is a grifter, yeah. I'm actually, no, like, seriously, there was a time when I was, like, in this Discord groups, and there were, like, list of content creators that you shouldn't follow, don't talk about them, don't associate, because they did this, they said that, and I'm like, what the fuck is this nonsense, man? The fuck is this shit? I will associate with whomever I want. Just because I associate with someone doesn't mean that I believe what they say or that I support what they do. Like, I can associate with people for various reasons. In this case, it's shitting on AAA. If you shit on AAA, I will associate with you even if your mother is a communist. I don't fucking care. Just keep shitting on AAA. What if it was a black person? I associate. To be fair, V doesn't pretend to be part of every community of the moment. Oh yeah, that's another thing. When I was invited on the Flashcast, I really like those people. But then I stopped liking them because it's like, oh, but he said such and such, and she did this, and I can't associate because they said that, and they went on a live stream, and they said, like, what the fuck is with this teenage drama shit? It's like, you're making a show, right? And you're bringing people that are entertaining. Why is it like, oh, he made a stream, and who fucking cares? Honestly, this is what destroyed Comicsgate. I can't imagine, like, people just don't see how toxic this mentality is, right? You had Comicsgate, like, for the first time ever, you had, like, actual professional people that make comic books say, okay, we're going to go independent. And you had, like, Ethan Van Sciver making this comic book, sells over $1 billion. So it's all good, it's popular, other people are making it, they're selling their shit. And then the drama happens. And like, why? Why did the drama have to happen? Why couldn't you just be fucking professional about it? Why do you have to complain so much? Oh, but this person's personality is... Who fucking cares? What does this have to do with writing fucking comic books? Just write the fucking comic book, sell it, that's it. Keep your private life private. Keep your public life public. Why can't you separate this? Oh yeah, but like, this guy said this in the stream, and it's like... God... Don't all news anchors and journalists get paid? Wouldn't that inherently make them grifters by the woke standards? Unironically, every single mainstream media anchor is by definition a grifter. You're a person that's hired by a company to read a fucking script and a teleprompter. You may not even believe the news you're saying. Yes, like these people are genuine grifters. Yellow Flash is a boomer. It used to be better that he used to get drunk and Riccietta wasn't on coke. Yeah, like all the drama is that I don't get it. Well, actually, no, hold on. I do get the drama. I do understand why the drama. Now, I'll tell you why the drama is. A lot of these content creators, right? Like, they're really talented, they're really skilled, and they're good at making comics. Like, Ethan Van Sciver is the one that I followed. I'm sure there's more. I haven't kept up with the drama for years. But, like, what I know is that he sold a comic and made $1 million. Like, I'm sorry, but that takes talent, right? Despite all of the suppression, despite the fact that a lot of distribution stores didn't want to distribute, he made $1 million. So that's huge. But I wonder how much money he makes on YouTube versus how much effort he needs to do, right? So, like, he starts a stream, and immediately the super chat starts popping up. Pop, 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 pop. And you gotta wonder how much money is that in total. Because it comes a time when you gotta wonder, well, writing a comic book is taking effort, it's more difficult. Meanwhile, just starting a stream, shooting up shit and gossiping, and the super chats just pop, 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 pop. That's more profitable, it's more easy. Maybe he doesn't make more money, I don't know. But he probably puts a lot less effort, right? So the incentive is to keep the streams going. And he makes a stream and shits on the Flashcast, right? And he's making money out of it, and the people are saying that that's what they want. So, of course, he's going to give them more of that, right? Like, if people would just, oh, he's shitting on the Flashcast, we're tuning out, we don't care about the drama. Like, tell us when you're making your comic book. If people were like that, I guarantee to you he would make his fucking comic book. It's not rocket science. So, if the drama is rewarded, it's not the algorithm. Don't fucking blame the algorithm. That's why I stopped watching him. If everyone was like me, he would have made his comic book by now. That's why I stopped watching and associating. But it's on my choice. It's not because I got a list telling me to stop associating with him. It's not that I got like someone telling me I don't associate with either. I made the decision. And I made the decision because I associate with people based on the work they do. I associated with him because he was making a comic book. I disassociated because he stopped making the comic books. That's fucking simple. It's not because of his personality. It's not because of anything else. It's literally just like black and white. He told me he's making something, got my interest, stopped making it, lost my interest. And it would be the same with groups and everyone else. It's like I associate with him because she's shitting on AAA games. If tomorrow he stops shitting on AAA games or starts praising them, I disassociate. So, my point is, if everyone did the same, it's like, oh, he's doing drama. Okay, he's doing drama 1 day, he's doing drama 2 days, he's doing drama 3 days, and then it's like, you lose interest, he would lose subscribers, he would lose money, he would be like, okay, I gotta go back on my fucking game. On my fucking comic book. Isn't he still making the comics? He still is, but very slowly. Very sluggishly. Like, with the money that he has, there are other Japanese artists doing manga that are shitting comics issue after issue. Like, money printing. It's like, when you reach a certain level where you have a lot of money, you just hire staff. Like, come on. How you doing? There's no excuse. There's women in Japan that are writing manga, and in South Korea. And the number of mangas just go like... The women draw them as well. You can make the argument that, well, okay, fine, it's coloring, right? Because mangas are black and white and he wants his color. Hire another person. God. He did an update on his comic and just added another perk. No update on the comic. Okay. Just like the general person and guys that sim for only dummies people, how weak-willed the average person annoys me tons. Yeah. No, that's pretty much it. It's the blacklists that go in various circles that piss me off. It's like, oh, you shouldn't talk with this person because he said such and such. Oh, don't retweet this guy because he did this. Don't talk to this guy. It's like, I think I can make my own decisions so I can talk and not talk to him. I'm not saying he's not making them. Just so you understand, I'm saying he's making them very slowly. To my taste. Like, I'm not telling you you shouldn't like his stuff or buy his stuff. Go on and do it. Like, I'm not making that. I'm telling you why I made my choice. Like, I personally do not like the fact that he's very slow. If you like it, that's fine. I'm not telling you to change your mind. Work ethic goes out the window when you find another way to make money. I just watched a YouTube video down the rabbit hole with a developer by the name of Yandere Dev. Very famous around internet circles. And it's literally the same shit. Like, he started making a video game. And he wasn't very popular. And when he wasn't very popular, he was hardworking and he was making his project. And then some streamers found out about him and they streamed his game. And all of a sudden, everyone is talking about it. I think his game got banned from Twitch or some shit. And that's when he actually becomes popular. The moment he becomes popular, he becomes a cheeky little shit, becomes arrogant, stops updating his game, becomes lazy, complains that people keep pestering him, becomes like George R.R. Martin, basically. And it's like, I have seen this happen time and time again. You know, like, when someone has a project, if it gets backed, it's nice if it gets back to a certain point. When the person makes obscene level of wealth, there is no desire to finish the project. And the reason for this is that if you finish the project and you disappoint people, the money stops coming in. If you just keep it going and you string people along, the money keeps flowing. So you are financially incentivized not to finish the project. So I just want you to think about this, right? Like, he was making, I think, like $6,000 a month on Patreon on that project. There is no way that, like, he would have made more money if he actually sold the game. Right? Like, if you sell the game, you're not going to make more than 6,000 times 12 a year. So, like, he knew that. And he was like, well, I'll just, like, keep stringing people along and I'll just keep taking the money. We should thank the ones that leaked Velguard footage, because many of those viral scenes happened later in the game, past the refund point. I noticed they did that. And they did that the same with Spider-Man too. Like, they know that the woke shit is not popular, and they put it really, really deep into the story. And one of my counterpoints, when they say, like, wokeness is amazing, it's like, if it was amazing, wouldn't it be behind a paywall? Like, they always release LGBT flags for bullets in Call of Duty and stuff like that. and LGBT like rainbow icons for uniforms. Why don't they ever put money on those? Like, why is it never, oh, you got like this decal for a weapon that's a rainbow flag, $10. They never do that, right? Interesting. If the Vast Skyver is the star citizen of comics, no, at least he actually released 2 issues. Quality art takes time. Oh, come on, dude. Like, especially when you have Trashcast to run. Again, I just want to know. I think differently than most others, right? So, like, I don't want people to emulate me. Like, if I don't follow Ethan, I'm not telling you to follow him or not. I'm asking you use your own moral judgment and compass, right? Don't let other people tell you who you should and shouldn't follow. If you like him, follow him, by all means. That's how I do it. Like, if I actually... When I follow someone, I don't follow them because of their behavior. Like, I follow Asmongold, but, like, my bedroom doesn't look as dirty as his. Like, I'm not trying to emulate his lifestyle. I follow him because I like the topics he brings, and I like the viewpoints that he has. That's it. If he stops having good viewpoints, or if he stops bringing up good topics, then I stop following him. It's the same thing with the Styx. Like, I stopped following Styx. I used to watch his videos every single day. I used to watch him, like, 2 years ago. Every single day I was watching his videos. And then I stopped, and I, like, during the election, I was watching it every now and then, like, when there was an important event. And then there was, like, the vice president debate. And when I tried to watch him, he wasn't there. But the reason I stopped watching him, like, has nothing to do with his personality or anything. It's just because, like, the reason that I did stop watching him wasn't there anymore. So, like, I was watching him for his insightful commentary. And then, like, at one point, the insightful commentary just stopped. And I was like, well, like, I'm sorry, Styx, but it's just a waste of my time, you know? Like, he was having the same takes that I was having without watching him, so it's like, it's not like a commentary on his personality or anything. It's just like, well, I just think that he's not putting as much effort, and he's not as entertaining as he used to be. Same thing with Rikieta. Like, with Rikieta, I was also watching his streams, and at one point, when he started drinking, and he was coming drunk on every stream, like, the content was poorer, wasn't making as much sense as it did, so I stopped watching. It's like, there's a reason I watch, and if that reason stops existing, I stop. It's nothing to do with the personality of the content creator. I don't care about their personal life, just like I don't care about the CNN anchor, what they do in their free time. Don't care about what John Lemon does at gay bars and shit. You know, it's like, that's not the reason I tune in. Like, when I buy a product, I don't care who made it. I care if the product is good. I'm a horrible person like that, but what can you do? Most Eastern Europeans are like this. Who sticks? A content creator. If things keep up, eventually I'll probably fade, but I go out of the habit of snapping back and forth over net comments. ASMR for Wenvy? Never. You hate Dev? I don't hate Dev. It's just that I can't be in a stream with him without arguing. And I generally don't enjoy arguing. So it's kind of like that. I don't agree with his takes. I don't agree with his viewpoints. I understand his viewpoints. I don't agree with them, but I don't hate him. Well, actually, never mind. I do hate him because he fucked Dungeons and Dragons. I hate Dev. Styx got better the last 2 weeks. He seems more confident and back on his mojo. I'll check and see what he says. I haven't watched this channel since The Thing, so it's been more than a month now. But I am curious if you say that he got back on his mojo. I do hope that he shapes himself up, you know, like I don't like people ending up in the ditch. I like reading redemption stories. I like seeing like people climbing back up from the ditch. I don't care for the backstory of who made the product. I only care about the product itself. You'd be shocked how many people are like me, but they don't like admitting. Could you do a collab with Raging Golden Eagle? Like, right now, I'm not doing streams with anyone. Because I gotta work on making 4 videos a day. I'm also working on my game. It's it's difficult to actually time something and schedule something. So the only thing I do is This Week in Stupid with Mr. Wars. That's why I'm not even on the Archcast anymore. He is like King Cobra or DSP? No. He's kind of different. I think like the stuff with the occult is the one thing that you can say, well, it's a little bit odd. Sitch and Adam are okay. I haven't seen him. I mean, I know that they have a show. I think I've been on their show once, but I haven't watched them, especially not this year, so. I don't know who King Cobra is. I know who DSP is, but I did hear about the fact that people are talking about King Cobra. Like, I saw it on Twitter. Styx has a very strong occult following. Yeah, I think he's like a genuinely believer in the occult. Which is kind of cringe, I guess. Like, you need to believe in an official religion. You can't believe in just any spiritual stuff. Like paganism and shit. But, yeah, from my understanding, people keep talking about Has-Been Hotel. There's this demon Solus, the owl. Well, apparently there's actually such a thing in real mythos. Like, Has-Been Hotel actually used that from actual mythos. And he's, like, supposed to be the prince of astrology and wisdom and understanding. And Styx believes that he summoned him and communed with this. So, like, make of this information what you will. It's a Gundam collab. Goodness. I think, like, big streamers are interested in me. They know about my existence, eh? He calls his owl demon Stolus. No, Stolus. Like, it's on Wikipedia. Hold on, let me show you. See, I actually know these things, because I also know about voodoo and shit, but the difference is that I don't think it's real. I just find it interesting to know, like, okay, what did people think about when they created their cultures in the past? Right? So, like, it's interesting to see people that came from the Caribbeans. Like, what exactly did they believe? Or people in medieval time, what were their superstitions, right? Because, like, someone came up with them. But I don't believe that they're real. Like, I don't actually believe that there's a demon Solus. So, let me see if I can find it. List of theological demons. Okay. Oh my god, there's so many of them. More than I knew. Yeah, so it takes the shape of an owl. And it looks kind of like this. Alright, it's on Wikipedia. And he also takes the shape, I believe, of a wolf and can also appear like a rich man. And unlike other demons, he's not as aggressive, basically. Like, he's more into knowledge and shit. But it's still a demon, so, like, you... Like, let me put it this way, right? If I actually believed in this, if I unironically believed that these entities are real, the last thing that I would want would be to drag their attention of my presence. Like, to let them know that I exist. That, like... The worst thing that you can possibly try and do is to summon one of them for any reason whatsoever, right? So, like, if I actually believed in this, no, I would not summon them. No, I don't think like there's any creature that actually in most mythologies, like not just Christianity, you wouldn't want to summon demons, but even if you look at voodoo, like the last thing you want to do is to summon a Loa. like theoretically, okay, so you summon a Loa, and it's like flipping a coin. If you have like every preparation that's done right, like the way it works is that you need to summon Papa Legba first. Papa Legba is the Loa that is sitting at the crossroads. So in order for you to get access to other Loas, you gotta summon Papa Legba. And Loas aren't like creatures in the way that demons are in Christianity. Oh, you don't know who Papa Legba is? Oh, fucking hell. See, this is what happens when Hollywood talks all about diversity, but they never actually, you know, do some actual mythos, some actual Haitian stuff. Because it's really interesting, like if you actually read the lore and stuff. Right, this is Papa Legba. The way you summon him, you gotta make sure that you give him exactly what he wants in the order that he wants, and there's like a specific ritual. I don't know, I haven't read it. But basically, like, you need to have like rum, cigars, sugar, like it's various items, right? So once you summon him, he is the one that you need to please in order for him to open the gates to the spirit realm, and then you can talk to another Loa that you actually wanted to talk to, right? So, for instance, like, let's say your tribe wants to defeat the other tribe, so you want to talk to the Loa of War. And first you summon Papa Legba, and then you ask for him to introduce you to the Loa of War, and then you talk to the Loa of War. And you gotta please the, again, like, you need to make sure that you have, like, your rum and your cigars and exactly what they want. Because otherwise they get offended. And if they get offended, they fuck with you. And these are supposed to be entities that they're pretty much like cosmic entities, if you will, right? Like, if they want to fuck with you, they will fuck with you really bad. So, like, this is the reason that you would never want to summon them. It's like, it's not fucking worth it. I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't believe in this stuff. I just read it because I find it interesting. But, like, if I actually believed it and I thought they're real, the last thing I would want to do is to summon one of these things. It's like, no. Leave them where they are. Good gracious. I think demon is a misunderstanding of a lot. Fae and supernatural archetypes. It doesn't really matter. Like, there's absolutely no creature that I would think that it's a good idea to summon. If you read the lore of any mythology, any type of religion, any type of supernatural thing that human came up with, I can't think of anything that is worth summoning. Is he from Louisiana? Kinda, yeah. Like, a lot of the lore is that some of the slaves that were brought into America, they were practitioners of voodoo. So they actually brought it to America, and the culture mixed with American attire, with the American culture. And they also used Christianity as a way to hide their practices. So, like, they would talk about St. Peter, but instead they would talk about Papa Legba, right? So, Papa Legba balls. Oh, I see what you did there. What about St. Jude? Can you summon a saint? I don't think saints respond to summonings. I want a boy wife one up though. They're not really like H.P. Lovecraft cosmic horrors, because like the Lovecraftian ones don't care about you. But these are ones that may take an interest and answer your request, and you wouldn't get mad, like you wouldn't get madness if you commune with one. What about summoning a guardian angel? You don't summon them, you get granted one. Like, theoretically, everyone has a guardian angel, right? So you can't really summon it. Like, that's the thing. Like, the only stuff that's benevolent and benefic, like, you don't actually get to summon. Now, you can pray for divine intervention, and that's different. Summoning would mean that you're basically forcing the entity to interact with you, right? So, like, you're making the circle, you're placing the words, and you're trying to get the thing to interact with you, which is not a good idea. The Bible itself suggests to not go to mediums or to speak with the spirits of the dead. Yeah. Like, it's not just the Bible. Like, most religions, even the ones that believe in this shit, even they basically tell you, like, don't try and summon, don't do it. Are angels more powerful than demons? It's never like discussed as in, power levels, like is an angel capable of defeating a demon or not. It's more like they're interested in corrupting or saving the soul of mankind. So the idea is that you have demons that try to tempt you, and you have angels that try to pull you into virtue. So it's up to you to make the right decision. It's kind of like that. It's not that they're fighting each other. Now in the Bible they fought, and I assume like the angels were stronger because they won. But they don't actually describe the conflict. They don't talk about the weapons they use. They don't talk about the tactics or anything like that. So yeah, like we don't know who would win. But I don't think they're fighting. Like it's never described after the fall. I don't think they ever had any type of actual conflict. The only one is with Jesus. There is a passage in the Bible where there's a man that's possessed by demons, and Jesus appears and he performs an exorcism, and the demons are begging Jesus not to send them back to the abyss. That's pretty much where they are in hell. It's supposed to be a place that we don't know much about. Like, it's a place of darkness, and it seems that the demons don't like being there, but they can move around, right? So like they can escape it and be on Earth. And Jesus basically sends them into some pigs, right? So like he does the exorcism, takes them out of the bed and puts them in pigs. And that's like the only time in the Bible where we see like an actual conflict, if you will, like an actual struggle. Angels and demons are technically the same thing, but opposite. They're kind of like, I mean, they were all angels at one point, but after the fall, it's not known, how they got changed by it. Because like if you take like on Earth, let's say, if you take a species of spider and you make it live in a dark cave for 100 years, like they're going to mutate. They're still like connected to the original spider, but it's going to look different than what it used to be. The only thing we know about hell is that it's dark and smells like sulfur. That's actually not true. There are many chambers in hell, if you will. Like, you do have the Gehenna, which is what you described. Well, it's not dark, actually. Like, that one is filled with fire, and it does smell like sulfur. But you also have, like, other places. Like, you have the bosom of Abraham, which, according to the New Testament, is empty now. That used to be paradise, but, like, once God descended, like, he opened the gates and got everyone from there into heaven. You have the abyss that we talked about. And I don't know how you guys got me to talk about the occult. But, yeah, I believe that Saint Bartholomew was punished for centuries in purgatory for performing exorcism as if they were just anything and being arrogant about it. I don't know the lore of that. But there's like a lot of lore with saints that is local as well. Like, you would go into England and they would have like a lore about St. George that may not be shared with like Orthodox Christianity. So it's possible. Yeah, we stick stream now. Yeah, as I mentioned, like, the difference between me and Styx is that I don't believe in this stuff. Like, I generally don't believe anything exists. It's just, like, me talking about Marvel movies, right? And talking about, Captain Marvel is able to lift Thor's hammer, which means that she is worthy, but... Right? Like, it's kind of like that from my perspective. But I think, like, Styx actually believes it. Like, he generally believes that the hammer is a thing, and... Anyway, I think we should end it here. I still have videos to upload on my other channels. So I'll see you guys in the comment section, and hopefully next week we'll do another Week is Stupid.